People are saying they know why JK has disappeared and are expecting the worst that has happened to him. We also have J-Hope saying that it is the end of a chapter and that it must all end, as well as we have the label believed to have done something and people are upset about it. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai, let's get into it. People were recently really upset because they believe that Jin has been mistreated since having his solo promotion. They specifically believe that the label has not been pushing him as much as they should, and that they've essentially pushed every single member thus far except Jin. This comes after the fact that Jin has a show coming up, and the label has yet to post about it on their own social media pages. So obviously it's posted on Jin's personal page and all of that stuff, but any of the official label's pages with like millions of followers has not gotten a post even through that account that usually post things like J-Hope's comeback and that sort of stuff. It was also believed that BTS's recent live viewing was announced to be on the same day as one of Jin's concerts, and people were saying that this is quite obviously sabotage. A lot of people were very violently angry, and I will say one thing that I hope people will do going forward, which is that even just doing a simple Google search or going on ChatGPT, you'll get answers as to why certain things are happening. But in case you didn't look up those things or are genuinely curious and is why you're watching this video, let me explain everything that I believe is happening. Jin mentioned it not too long ago at the start of his comeback that this was a last-minute effort. On the other hand, J-Hope has worked on his solo project for 8 months, I believe he said, so we are seeing a very stark difference here between comebacks and how much time and energy was put into it. This is very important because how much time and energy was put into it shows you how much the label has done in terms of training. So potentially then moving around different artists' comeback to prepare for another artist's comeback, or then putting an effort into securing opportunities for that artist. Interviews, or just the fact that the other teams who are part of different departments are fully aware of specific comeback dates. As much as everyone would like to believe that the label's social media teams are fully aware of every single member coming back and what every single member does all the time, we cannot assume that they do. These people likely have a roster of things that they need to post and talk about on a day-to-day basis, and those include BTS, those include other artists in the label, and they probably don't look outside of those things because it's not their job to check the activity of all of the artists in their label. They likely just, as I mentioned, get a roster of what they need to post, meaning if Jin's stuff was not made fully aware by the social media team or was a last-minute effort that he did, then every department would not be made aware of his activity. And of course, while I believe that theory to be the strongest and more likely one, there are other theories that are likely to, such as the social media team just forgetting to do that, but not in a malice way, but just in a way that they forgot. This is not a situation that has just happened with Jin. It's happened to literally every single member of BTS. And the same group of people are saying, look, J-Hope got this huge push by the label, that they have also said that J-Hope was the one that the label has actively ignored. So when you look at things like this, you quite obviously see that there is not only a huge misunderstanding, but a huge problem in just jumping to conclusions with these things. Of course, keeping in mind these are just my theories, and it could be none of these things. I mean, I'm excited to see anything from any of the boys, and regardless of if it's a last-minute activity or if it's one that's been planned for a really long time, I don't really care. I just want to see it. Jin has also sold out all of his shows, so why does he need further promotion? Even if the biggest TV network in the world were to promote his next show, it would make no difference because people can't actually buy to go see it. The goal is to sell tickets, not to make every single show so globally well known, because well known doesn't exactly pay the bills. And I think we can be excited for this particular promotion because we are seeing it actually happen in real time. As J-Hope's shows are actually coming to an end and his promotion is coming to an end. J-Hope mentioned that during his last concert, and he talked about how this was the end of an era. And while he was extremely happy to have all of the boys come back and be at his show, and he even mentioned that later all of the boys will have a lot to show us, he was of course a little bit sad that his own solo stuff was coming to an end. And he talked about, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, that he was working on this for 8 months to make sure everything was perfect. He also mentioned something that was a lot more heartfelt to people, which was that the members are really important to him and that he absolutely misses them as well as the community. He also mentioned that he wouldn't be here likely talking about his solo activity and just his journey in general, but I'm sure likely talking about his solo era. And of course, how much the members have inspired him and his work. and also the community and what they've done for him. This definitely feels like an end of an era, and for a lot of people it feels like the end of a very specific type of music, because he has created music that is very different from what the BTS boys have done in a while. So this is all very exciting to hear and to do, and I hope he eventually does more of this stuff in the future when he decides to make more solo work. And of course, I can't wait for the BTS boys to come back again. J-Hope is going to be done with his music at this time, but he is not going to be done with music in general. And I think we should be very excited to see what's coming next. A lot of people are very disappointed, but I think we should be excited. People are often disappointed because they only want to see music from him and they don't really care about the other boys. And for that, I would urge you to give the boys a chance to like them. Or simply, if you just like J-Hope's music, don't just listen to his music, because he is not only part of BTS, he is going back to BTS, and if that really was not his priority and was not something that he actually really cared about, he would not do it. But of course, the topic of a comeback floating around and being semi-hinted towards or talked about by the other members has led a lot of people to wonder where the BTS boys are now and why aren't they getting together to work on something right now? And if they are, what are they up to? People were definitely very much wondering what happened to JK and why he has been so silent, specifically talking about the fact that he normally has done a lot of live streams when there's nothing going on, and people have been wondering why he hasn't been doing that, or if he is not doing that, is it a way to punish the community? I talked about this extremely briefly before, and a lot of people have felt like he is, but I want to give my theories on what I think is going on with this and what actually might be happening. Many people believe that since a stalker did show up to his house with luggage and all that stuff, as well as the situation with the cap saying "Make Tokyo Great Again" and him getting a lot of hate for that, many people have felt like this is his way of just kind of leaving the community and just not saying anything to them. This is where I get really annoyed, because the community is very egocentric and very narcissistic in some ways. Someone taking a break from social media and someone just logging off because they need time for their own mental health is not the same as them ghosting you. It's not the same as them being really upset at you. That's like one of those situations where you tell your friend, hey, I just need a week with no contact and I just need to disconnect from the world because my mental health is not great. And that friend just goes, oh, you hate me, even though the situation as to why you need to be off the grid has something to do with that friend. JK spent literally the last year and a half of his life surrounded by people. If he is an introvert, which I definitely do believe he is, then he would likely want some time to himself before things start to kick back up again and become crazy again. So that's my first theory on why he may choose to disconnect and not talk about things that are happening right now. But also, JK was literally in a scandal recently, and that is something that people aren't considering. Every time a celebrity gets into a scandal, it's either advised by their PR team or it's just something that they do naturally, which is to take time away from the spotlight. This is to make people think that they are actually reflecting on what they did and they're not pushing on and continuing. And by think, I don't mean that they're not actually doing that, but of course, PR is more like what the public thinks of you, right? So even if they are doing that privately, if the public doesn't think that, then the PR person's not doing their job. So that's what I'm talking about. Jungkook did it as well as so many other people who have been in scandals take time away from the spotlight. Part of it is, yes, that means when they come back, most people would have forgotten already what they did. But this is K-pop, most people don't forget. But this is part of the strategy. But it also means that when they come back, most people are going to assume or think that that particular person took time off to reflect on their actions and really think about what they did and are coming back as a new person. This is just a PR strategy. One that JK may or may not be taking a part of, we don't actually know, but one that is a general practice of a celebrity. And by saying that he's leaving because he's mad at the community is a way to take away from the fact that he is a celebrity who has to follow celebrity PR protocols when things like this happen. It's okay to think about what's going on with him and if he's okay. But if you reflect it back on yourself and say this is because he is mad at me, it takes away you then thinking about him. It takes away you caring about the celebrity. Because in any of these thoughts that you're having, you're not thinking how is he feeling. You're turning it to yourself and saying I'm feeling hurt because he's mad at me, when that's definitely likely not the reality. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thank you too. So leave a comment right here. Love you. Bye.